Dear viewers, welcome to the course System Software and Compilers. This is session 3 of Module 1. Myself, Satisha MS, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Canara Engineering College, Bantwal, Mangaluru. Previous session of this module, we discussed about how to generate an object code for a given program with respect to SIC machine. In this session, under the basic assembler function, we are going to study how to write the object program for the generated object code and also the algorithm used to generate the object code. Means here we are going to discuss about how to write the object program, what are the different records of the object program and the algorithm used to generate the object code. The object program, once the object codes are ready, the assembler must write the generated object code onto some output device. This object program will later be loaded into memory for execution. The simple object program format contains three records. So one is header record, text record and end record. So here we are going to study the different fields of header record, text record and end record. The header record is going to have three fields in it. One is the program name of the given program and starting address of the program and length of the program. So this is the structure of the header record. The column number 1 start with H, indicate that this is the header record. Column number 2 to 7 means total 6 columns is reserved for the program name of the program, and program number 8 to 13 means again total 6 columns are reserved for the starting address of the program. The values with respect to the object program is hexadecimal. Then column number 14 to 19, again total 6 columns is for length of the object programs in byte. In the previous session we discussed about how to calculate the length of each and every record in the given program. The last value of a location counter is 207A. You have to add 1 byte to the 207A, that is with respect to the line number 250 the location counter value is 207A. The line number 255 the location counter value will become 207A. Why it becomes 207A? Because the line number 250 you have an instruction byte x05. Here 05 is prefixed with the x, it is hexadecimal constant. 05 is a 2-digit value, 0 is 1 digit, 5 is another digit. As I already mentioned that each digit of the object code is equal to 4 bytes. So there are 2 digits, total 8 bits, that means 1 byte. Therefore you have to add the value 1 to a previous value, that is 207A. Now it becomes 2, sorry, that is 2079, it becomes 207A. So how to calculate the length of the object program? The length of the object program is calculated by subtracting the end address minus starting address. Starting address of the given program is 1000 and end address of the or ending value or the location counter value of the last line of the program is 207A. So 207A minus 1000 becomes 107A. The length of the program is 107A. So therefore there are 4 fields with respect to an header file. So column number 1 indicates H. H indicates the starting of the header record. 2 to 7 is a program name, that is total 6 columns is for a program name. 8 to 13, that is 6 column is for the starting address of the object program. In our case, the starting address of the object program is 1000, and column number 14 to 19, again there are 6 columns, indicate the length of the object program. In our case, length of the object program is 107A. How we got to 107A? By subtracting the last location counter value with a starting address. Last location counter value is 207A minus 1000 becomes 107A. So in the object program, after the header record, the next record is text record. In the text record, the column number 1 is for T, indicating the text record. So column number 2 to 7, that is total 6 columns, is for starting address for object code in this record. So starting address of the object code in the given program what you have discussed in the previous session is 1000, and column number 8 to 9, that is 2 columns, is for indicating the length of the object code in this record in bytes, that is in hexadecimal. And column number 10 to 69, that is total 60 columns, is for object code represented in hexadecimal. So one thing you should keep in mind here is that 2 columns makes 1 byte. 2 columns makes 1 byte. 2 columns per byte of an object code. If you combine 2 columns is equal to 1 byte. And the last record of this object program is end record. So in that first character is E indicates the end record. Then column number 2 to 7, that means total 6 columns, is for address of first executable instruction in the object program. The end record is also specify from where the program starts its execution, that is address of the first executable instruction in the object program. So this is the object program for the generated object codes. For your reference, here I have written the object codes what you have generated. This we have studied in the previous session. This is the object code of the first instruction. 141033 is the object code of our program, first instruction of our program. So as I already mentioned that in the object program there are 3 records. The first record is a header record, next is a text record, then the last one is the end record. Here you people have already seen the structure of the header record. So it start with the H, then followed by name of the uh, program. So in our case, name of the program is copy, that you have already seen in the previous session. Name of the program is copy. So there are total 6 columns are reserved for the name of the program. Out of 6 columns, here only 4 characters are specified, that is 4 columns are used. So remaining 2 columns are empty. Then next column number 8 to 13, that is total 6 columns, is for the starting address of the object program. As you know that starting address of the program what you have studied in the previous session is 1000. These 2 zeros are prefixed because to fill all the columns 00100. And then last 6 columns, that is column number 14 to 19, is reserved for length of the object program. So here length of the program is 107A. I think you know how I got this value 107A. So 107A, how I got this value? By subtracting the end location counter value with starting address. So end value is 207A, starting address is 1000. So I got 107A. This is about header record. Then the next one is text record. Text record start with before that, here we have used this symbol. This cap symbol is used just to indicate or just to separate the different fields of the record. So here H is one field, copy, that's name of the program, is another field, starting address, and then length of the object program. This character is used to separate the fields. This is just for our reference. This is not there in the object program. In the actual object program, we will not find this character. The next is the text record. So as I already mentioned that the text record start with the character T, followed by starting address for the object code in this record. Starting address, the first instruction is 141033. This object code, or this object code, is present in the starting address of the program, starting of the program. So what is the starting address? Starting address is 1000. And as I already mentioned that the last field, that is column number 10 to 16, here this one, column number 10 to 69, column number 10 to 69 is reserved for the actual object code. So 10 to 69 means total how many columns? 60 columns. And as I already mentioned that two columns together form one byte, so therefore how many bytes is reserved for the object code in a single line? Total 30 bytes. And length of each instruction is 3 bytes. Total how many such instructions you can accommodate in this single line? Total 10 instructions. See here, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Total 10 instructions can be stored in single line of a text record. So 30, the equivalent hexadecimal value of 30 is 1E, that is the length of the object code. So how many instructions are present in this single line? So total 10 instructions. What's the length of each instruction? Length of each instruction is 3 bytes. 3 into 10, 30 bytes. 30 is a decimal value. If we convert a value 30 to hexadecimal, it will become 1E. So 1E is the length of the object code of this particular line. Then after that, you have to initialize. Suppose if all the text records are not fit into a single line, in our case there are more number of instructions here, there are more number of object codes. All these object codes are not fit into the single line of a object program. So in that case, you have to initialize the next text record. So here we have stored the instructions up to 00. That is, here there are 10 instructions are stored. There are 10 instructions are stored in the first line of the object program. So next instruction is 0C1036. 0C1036. The instruction 0C1036. The instruction 0C1036 is present in the line number 60. So the address of that line is 101E. Address of that line is 101E. That is the starting address. Then how many remaining instruction in the first part of the object program, or in the given program? The given program will be having 3 functions. So this is the part of the first function. So in that we have already stored, we have already transferred, or we have already returned 10 instruction to an object program. How many instructions are remaining? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So 7 instructions you have to store. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So size of each instruction is 3. So 7 into 3, 21. So if I convert that 21 into hexadecimal, it will becomes 15. That this is the length of the program. This is the length of the object code. Length of the object code in this particular record. So same way you have to write the remaining instructions of a object code, or remaining instruction should be written into the object program. So then finally you have to write the end record. End record start with E. End record is start with E. Then along with the end record you are mentioning the starting address of the instructions from where it has to start its execution. Here it is 1000 is the starting address of the address of the instruction from where you have to start its execution. So this is the structure of the object program. Object program will be having three records: header record, text record, and end record. So header record mention the name of the program, followed by starting address of the program and length of the program. So text record will be having the actual object code generated for the instruction, and end record will be having the address of the instruction from where the program has to start its execution. So far we have studied how to generate a object code, and also we have seen how to write a object program, and also what are the different records present in the object program. You know, there are three records in the object program: header record, text record, and end record. So now we'll see the algorithm to used to generate the object code. So as I already mentioned that this algorithm uses two passes. In the pass one of an algorithm, it will assign addresses to all statement in the program, and it will save the values, that means addresses assigned to all labels that can be used in pass 2, and also it will perform some processing of assembler directives. This includes processing that affect address assignment, such as determining the length of the data area defined by byte, reserve word, etc. So these are the different steps of the pass 1, or different operations performed by the pass 1 of an algorithm. So we will see the pseudocode of the pass 1 of an algorithm. So it will begins with reading the first input line of the program. So before that you should keep in mind that the pass 1 of an algorithm will generate the symbol table. For your reference, the pass 1 of an algorithm will generate the symbol table, and also it will process the assembler directives. It will read the first input line, then generally the first input line will be the start. So along with the start, most of the time we are going to specify the starting address of the program. So that starting address of the program will be assigned to a location counter. In the first pass of the compiler, we are going to generate a values for the location counter that we have already seen in the previous session. So location counter will be assigned with a value which is specified along with the start. Okay. Suppose if it is not specified, the starting address is not specified, then we'll assume that starting address of the program is 0. If the starting address is specified, in our case it is 1000, that 1000 will be assigned to a location counter. Suppose if that value is not specified, then the starting address of the program, or we are assuming that starting address of the program is 0, that value 0 will be assigned to a location counter. Once the starting address is assigned to a location counter value, then you start reading the instructions. So while opcode not equal to end, that means till you reach the end of the program, you have to keep performing all these operations. So if this is not a comment line, that means instructions begins with a dot indicating that it is a comment line. If it is not a comment line, then you have to identify whether if there is any symbol in the label field of that instruction. The instructions with respect to SIC machine will be in the form of label, opcode, and operand. Most of the instructions are in the form of label, opcode, and operand. Not all the instructions, but most of the instructions are in this form. So you have to check out if there is any symbol in the label field of the instruction. So if there is a label, check that label in the symbol table. Check out whether the label is already present in the symbol table. If that label is already present in the symbol table, then you have to set the error flag indicating that duplicate symbol. Duplicate symbol. As I already mentioned that in the pass one of an algorithm, you are going to generate a symbol table. So that's why if this symbol or the label which is present in the the symbol which is present in the label field is already present in the symbol table, then set the error flag. So otherwise you have to insert that particular label along with its location counter value into the symbol table. Okay. Then once the label field is over, label field of that particular instruction is over, then go to the next field. What's the next field? Next field is opcode. Opcode. So you have to take that opcode and check whether the opcode which is present in the instruction of the program is present in the op table. As I already mentioned that the location counter, op table, symbol table, all these are the three data structures of an assembler. So you have to take the opcode and check the particular opcode value in the opcode table value, operational table value. If that opcode is present in the op table, then you have to add the value 3 to a location counter. Why exactly 3? Because this is SIC machine, each instruction of length 3, that's why I will add 3 to a location counter. So this one label is over, then we have check whether it is a opcode, that if opcode is present in the opcode table, then you have to do this. Otherwise it may be a, if this opcode is not present in this opcode table, it may be assembler directive. It may be assembler directive. What are the different assembler directive? Start, end, then word, reserve byte, etc. You have to check out whether the opcode is equal to word. If it is a word, add 3 to a location counter value. So if it is not a word, it may be a reserve word. If this is a reserve word, then you have to add that operand value 3 into operand value to a location counter. Suppose if reserve word 1, if the instruction of the form reserve word 1, then it is 3 into 1. If it is reserve word 2, then it is 3 into 2. So if the opcode is a reserve byte, if opcode is a reserve byte, then you have to add the operand value to a location counter. You have to add operand value. So operand value is generally in the decimal. Convert that into hexadecimal. Then you add that value to a location counter. So if the opcode value is a byte, it may be the operand with respect to a byte may be a character constant or hexadecimal constant. So that's why find the length of the constant in bytes. Find the length of the constant in bytes. So it may be 1, it may be 2, or it may be 3. Add that value to a location counter. Add that value to a location counter. So if that is not a opcode or it not a assembler directive, then you have to set the error flag indicating that invalid operation code. So then repeat this statements for all the instructions of a program. Then finally you write the line to an intermediate line. Read the after that you have to write the line, that is the opcode to an intermediate line, object code for the intermediate line. Read the next input line, then you repeat all these instructions for the remaining instruction of the program. Okay, so you have to repeat these steps to the remaining instructions of the program. So this is the end of the algorithm, pass 1 of an algorithm. So after all the instructions are over, that means after you generate the object code for all the instructions which are present in your program, you have to write the last line to an intermediate file. That means pass 1 of an algorithm will generate an intermediate file. So you have to write the last line to an intermediate file. Then you have to calculate the length of the program. How to calculate the length of the program? Location counter value, last value of a location counter minus starting address will gives you the length that will be saved. That is the end of the pass 1. So this pass 1 of an algorithm will generate the symbol table. That means it will generate a value or address for all the labels or all the instructions of your program. So this is the pass 2 of a 2 pass assembler. You know what this algorithm will do in the pass 1. In the pass 1 it will generate the symbol table. In the pass 2, this algorithm will assemble instruction. That means it will translate the operation codes into operation code into object code, and also it will generate the data values defined by byte, word, etc. Byte, word, etc. are the uh, assembler directives. For those assembler directives, it will not generate the object code. Instead, it will generate the data values for the defined value. Sorry, data. It will generate the data values defined by byte, word. Then after that, it will perform processing of assembler directives which are not done during the pass 1 of an algorithm. Finally, this algorithm will write the object program and assembly listing. So we'll see how this pass 2 will work. What the pass 2 will do. There are 4 operations performed by pass 2 of an algorithm. One is assemble instruction. Second one is generate data values defined by byte, word, etc. Third one is perform processing of assembler directives which are not done in pass 1. Then finally it will write the object program. So begin, read the first input line from the intermediate file. As I already mentioned that pass 1 of an algorithm will generate an intermediate file. From that it will read the first line. If that opcode is equal to start, then you write the listing line and write that into the listing line, then read the next input line. Then after that it will write the header record to the object program. What do you mean by header record? Header record means name of the program, starting address of the program, and length of the program. This information will be written into the object program. Then after that, after writing an header record, it will initialize the first text record. It will initialize the first text record. Actual object codes are going to be written into the text record of the object program. So it will initialize the first text record. After initializing the first text record, it will check opcode is not equal to end. That means till the end of the program. So if this is not a comment line, if this is not a comment line, which lines are considered as a comment line. That is, the line start with a dot will be considered as a comment line. If it is not a comment line, then it will search the opcode table for the operation code. If that opcode table will be having the opcode, then check if there is any symbol in the operand field, because to generate the object code you need an address of an operand. So if opcode is present, then you have to search the operand field. So if operand field is present, then you search the value for that operand in the symbol table. This symbol table is already generated in the pass 1 of an assembler. So if that value is found, store symbol value as operand address. If it is not present in the symbol table, means it's an undefined symbol. So therefore you have to store 0 as an operand address and set an error flag indicating that the symbol is not defined. So otherwise, suppose you have obtained an opcode and that opcode is not having an operand. In some cases we have an opcode with no operands. If that is the case, then store 0 as an operand address. There are some instructions which contains no operands. If that is the case, store 0 as an operand address. Then you have to generate the finally you have to generate the object code for a particular instruction. That is, assemble the object code instruction means here you are generating an object code for that particular instruction. So if it is not an instruction, that means if it is an assembler directive, if that is the case, then opcode is equal to byte or it may be a word. So for a reserve word and reserve byte, we are not going to generate an object code. For byte and a word, we just translate the byte into an object code. So convert constant to object code. Opcode if it is an assembler directive. If that is the case, convert constant to an object code. That constant itself is an object code with respect to byte and word. If object code will not fit into the current text record, that means in a line of a text record you can fit 10 instruction. If it is not fit into the current text record, if that is the case, write the text record to an object program, then initialize the new text record, that you have seen in the previous slides. Then finally you have to add the object code to the text record, then write the listing line, then read the next input line. So repeat this till you reach the end of the program. Repeat these steps till you reach the end of the program. Finally, you write the last text record to the object program, write end record to the object program, write last listing line, and end the pass-through of an algorithm. Content of this presentation are from this textbook, System Software by D. Manjula. Thank you one and all.